The following program is a production of HEW Entertainment and contains views, opinions, commentaries, and content that may offend some subscribers of this show. Listener discretion is advised.
It's that time once again for HEW Entertainment Radio.
And that's all I got to say about that.
Hosted by Jonathan Clarke.
You beat the man! You gotta beat the man! Woo!
Be sure to join us in the live chat room during the show.
Hulkamania is running wild like it's never ran before.
Call us on one of our request lines. If you live in the United States, call us at 1-641-985-7800, box number 3729288. If you're from Canada and would like to call us from 1-647-724-4194, box number 3729288. Long distance charges may apply in some areas.
I've been the World Heavyweight Champion 10 times.
Or you can always drop us a line at MySpace, myspace.com/HEW Entertainment.
And you will rest in peace.
Emailing us works for you too. Email us hewwrestling@hotmail.com.
I am a wrestling god. JBL.
And now, without any further ado, here is your host of HEW Entertainment Radio on the official website of HEW Entertainment, Jonathan Clarke.
The champ is here.
Streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. HEW Entertainment Radio is inviting you to comment on our video blogs, join the conversation, and like us. So what are you waiting for? Log on and listen now. Don't miss out on any of the action. Download our app on the App Store, Google Play, and the official website of HEW Entertainment. Once you download and install it, you'll get caught up on news, YouTube videos, and more. Download it now.
Give it to me. Use my body to keep you alive. Use my body to keep you alive. I don't care what you do to me. Use my body to keep you alive. I don't care what you do to me. Use my body to keep you alive.
Yeah, I'm under down, but 95. Kick boots and ultra loud. See as your horse show. Knock it nice and smooth. Step back and watch it flow. Yeah. Never gonna stop. Never gonna stop. Never gonna stop. Never gonna stop.
We are pleased to be able to bring you this fine entertainment.
It is The Undertaker's final WrestleMania, and his last opponent is Shane McMahon. I mean, who out there is going to buy into the idea that Shane McMahon is going to be the man who retires The Undertaker after 7 years of absence from Shane McMahon? I think wrestling fans would prefer to see the match 15 years in the making. The match of the century is what I've called it, and I don't think there's any wrestling fan out there that would argue that point that I've made. The Undertaker versus Sting is a match that needs to happen, and I think I can get away with saying that as I speak for every wrestling fan who ever was a fan of both The Undertaker and Sting, like I have been for at least the last 15 years that I've been watching both of them. For World Championship Wrestling, for Sting, WWE, for The Undertaker, they were so loyal to their respective brands, and I think it's time for this match to happen now that they are under contract by the same company. Sting has not been seen on WWE television since his injury. I know that's playing a factor on why this match probably hasn't happened, but I can only pray for every Undertaker and Sting fan out there that this is not the end for The Undertaker, and we will see him again at events like SummerSlam and Survivor Series, because keep in mind, this match could be used to set up for Sting versus The Undertaker, say at SummerSlam, because that's the next 4-hour pay-per-view, and this is the next place we could possibly be seeing The Undertaker versus Sting and The Undertaker's retirement match, because they are not saying anything about The Undertaker retiring at WrestleMania. They're just saying it's his final WrestleMania. So say Sting comes out and pulls the interference on the behalf of Shane McMahon. The Undertaker turns around and blames WWE for putting Sting in the Hall of Fame over his legacy, because he believes he's the one who should have went in before Sting ever was considered to be the headline inductee of this year's Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and he blames Sting for taking away his legacy at WrestleMania from him. So then it sets up for a retirement match between Sting and The Undertaker, where either The Undertaker retires or both The Undertaker and Sting put their careers on the line and retire both of their legacies in one final match. I think there's still a lot for Sting to give us, and I still think there's a lot for The Undertaker to give us, because there's a lot of unfinished things for The Undertaker and Sting both to do. There's still a lot wrestling fans want to see out of these two icons who only defined the generation they were a part of. There's only one way of defining the generation past, and that's The Undertaker and Sting in their eyes, because everything they did in their generation really made the generation stand out. Now, people will argue the fact the Hulk Hogan's, the Macho Man Randy Savages, the Ted DiBiase's, the Andre the Giants were the ones that made professional wrestling and built the company in the early 1980s. But I think if there ever were people who built the wrestling industry, especially in the early 90s, it was definitely The Undertaker and Sting. So why isn't this match happening? It's beyond me why. The only logical explanation that can be derived from all of this and the way things are being played out is the fact the wrestling business loves to deprive us of things we want to see. And that's why I give wrestling fans all the credit in the world for being some of the smartest people, because you guys chant post-WrestleMania 31 Undertaker in the interview with Sting that Renee Young did when Sting was talking about his future, saying he was going to reach out and grab whatever WWE threw his way, and he responded to the Undertaker chants by saying, I don't know. It's almost like in his mind he knew that this match was never going to happen, but I hope that WWE go through with it, because the magnitude of this match would be amazing, because wrestling fans are some of the smartest people in the world. And can you imagine the diversity we'll be seeing and we'll be looking at for The Undertaker versus Sting? Half the fans would be for Sting, the other half of the fans would be for The Undertaker, because they are loyal to the people they love, and that's really something that I admire about wrestling fans. I mean, they could be some of the most beloved wrestlers or some of the most hated wrestlers, and you guys are just fans of them because of how they represent themselves and how they are very different. And I think the Undertaker versus Sting match would definitely put that on display in a way that no other dream match that we have seen, at least in the last 10 years, has been able to do for us, and give us something very special. Images with stilled in our minds that would be Instagrammed, videoed about on Facebook, posted on Twitter, tweeted out in the way of photos and videos and articles that we wouldn't be forgetting about anytime soon. This match would be awesome, and the storyline would also be very creative. I can't see why this storyline wouldn't be very creative, because of the psychology that we would be seeing from two of the greatest psychologists in the wrestling business. I mean, if psychology was ever to be defined, the only way it could be defined, like the era could only be defined, is through The Undertaker and Sting. Because if there ever were two of the greatest wrestling psychologists in the industry, yeah, you can argue the point of how Jake the Snake Roberts, Roddy Piper, Bret Hart were some of the greatest wrestling psychologists we had ever seen, and no doubt they were, with no disrespect to their legacies, past or present. But the thing is, The Undertaker and Sting stood out as two of the greatest wrestling psychologists we had ever seen in the wrestling business. I mean, who else could have played a dead man character more than Mark Calloway, or better than what Mark Calloway did? Glenn Jacobs tried a hand at Kane. You know, he was so effective, but it was still just a mirror image of The Undertaker. You can even go back as far as, say, the fake Sting or the fake Undertaker. I mean, WWE and WCW really tried to pull the wool over our eyes and say, you know, they are just as good of psychologists as the originals. But in my opinion, it was just a desperate way for the two companies to compete against each other, with The Undertaker, of course, having their fake Undertaker and WWE Sting having his fake Sting in WCW. It was just a way of the companies trying to play a game of one-upsmanship. There were really only two definitive psychologists in the business, especially of the 90s, that really assisted the companies in getting in the positions they were in, and that was The Undertaker and Sting. And if not for their contributions to either wrestling organization, you have to wonder, you know, what would have ever became of companies like World Championship Wrestling and ECW and other companies in the territories? What would have ever became of these companies when anything have ever been made possible for them? That will be something that will be argued for a very long time. But two of the greatest wrestling psychologists, you can put any wrestling psychologist up against The Undertaker and Sting in my books, and The Undertaker and Sting would come out on top. If you haven't already figured it out, I'm a really big Undertaker and Sting